Good to have you. So what do you make of the fact that the president says, I'm not going to, if they're going to do a virtual debate, that's not a real debate, I'm not going?
Look, I think the president's right on this, and unfortunately, I think this is a pattern we've seen play out throughout the debates where the moderators and the debate commission have behaved like arms of the Joe Biden campaign. I think at the first debate, I think Chris Wallace did a terrible job moderating. Last night, I think Susan Page did a better job moderating. She didn't interrupt as much, but her questions were still, it's an interesting hypothetical to go back and look at the questions she asked and ask how would the questions have read differently had they been written by the Joe Biden campaign? In that virtually every question out of her mouth was from the left with all of the assumptions Joe Biden and the Democrats believed. There was really very little pushing part on the other side. This decision here to hold a virtual debate, that benefits Joe Biden, that lets his staff be in the room, that lets him receive assistance. One of the real concerns a lot of people have is if Joe Biden is even up to it, and if you insulate him and let him do the debate from the basement, that's eliminating the debate aspect of it. And listen, I think the reason the commission did this is the Democrats right now think they're winning. They believe Joe Biden's winning. I think they're very happy for Joe not to leave his basement for another minute between now and Election Day. And if the commission sticks to we're going to do it virtually, I think the president's right saying I'm not going to participate in this charade.
Well, just to defend Chris Wallace, he's part of our family, and it's not easy to debate, to moderate a debate. And I've watched other moderators say sometimes when you're up there on stage, all the time, when you're up there on stage and you're in charge of asking the questions, you see something different than what the audience is seeing at home. And it's a difficult situation. I thought Chris did a fine job, and he's one of our friends, and he's part of our family, Ted Cruz. So, Senator. All right, I just wanted to clarify that because we love him. All right, so as far as court packing is concerned, she didn't answer the question. And Joe Biden didn't answer the question a week and a half ago. So I think we have that soundbite. Watch this.
Are you and Joe Biden going to pack the court if Judge Amy Coney Barrett is confirmed?
The American people are voting right now, and it should be their decision.
They'd like to know if you and Joe Biden are going to pack the Supreme Court if you don't get your way in this nomination.
Let's talk about packing. 50 people who President Trump appointed to the Court of Appeals for lifetime appointments, not one is black.
I just want the record to reflect she never answered the question.
So does that mean they're definitely going to pack the court?
Unquestionably. And they don't want to admit it because they know it polls badly. They know it shows that they're engaging in a left-wing power grab.
Sorry to interrupt you. Will you remind the audience why that is so important for our country? If they pack the court, how dangerous could that be? Well,
the court for 150 years has had 9 justices. If you come in and the Democrats in a partisan power grab increase it from 9 to 11 or to 13, it turns the court into just another partisan body. It turns it into a football. It also starts the process of escalation. Look, if the Democrats take it to 11, what it means as a practical matter is the next time the Republicans take the majority, we take it to 13, and it just starts escalating. The framers envisioned the Supreme Court as having independence, as a judicial body that followed the law and followed the Constitution. It's not meant to be a political body. We've seen a Democratic president try to do this. FDR tried to pack the court. His own party, the Democrats, said, no, that's too much. It'd be bad for the court, bad for the country. Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, before she died, she was asked about packing the court. She said, 9 seems like a good number. It was a mistake when FDR tried to do it, and it'd be a mistake now. I think Justice Ginsburg was right. And
right.
Joe and Kamala know that. They're just hiding. That exchange reminded me of the exchange on fracking also, where they're trying to hide from the American people what their radical agenda is. And I think Mike Pence did an excellent job last night. I think he was calm, he was cool, he was collected, he was focused on the substance, and I think Mike clearly won the debate last night.
Well, I'll tell you what, Senator, the other thing that came up is the Breonna Taylor case. Controversy, to say the least. We don't know all the facts, but the grand jury did, and they came up with a verdict, and the Attorney General and the District Attorney, the Attorney General came and spoke about it. Were you surprised that a former Attorney General would come out against that verdict?
No, because it's consistent. The Democratic Party right now is demagoguing on race and trying to inflame racial tensions. And listen, what happened to Breonna Taylor was horrible. She was an innocent woman who was killed. Now, it's not clear that the police did so on purpose. Sometimes horrible accidents happen. I mean, they were executing a lawful warrant and were being fired upon, and they fired back. But that's an answer that has too much nuance and detail for today's Democrats. Anytime there is a shooting involving the cops, where they go is demagogue, inflame, and I think that's consistent with the pattern. Now, I will say this. Kamala is a talented communicator. I think her answer on that and a number of other things had a lot of raw emotion, and it had a real power to it. And I think I don't think we should underestimate that. I also think, though, a lot of her answers were very rehearsed. And where that came across most clearly was where she said repeatedly, I'm speaking. And it's clear she'd practiced that.
Right.
Frankly, to prepare for being interrupted like President Trump did in the first debate. And had it been someone aggressively interrupting, that would have worked pretty well. As it was, Mike Pence is a pretty mild-mannered guy, and it looked wildly disproportionate when she had this sort of I'm speaking like a ticked off.
Well, you had to speak through the plexiglass.
All right. Senator Ted Cruz, we thank you very much for giving us your opinion this morning.